Wacha tusalimiane jioni. Wana nani yako mteja, nani yako available. What is this doing? Hello people. Who is there? Is this thing live? Or just messing about? Joki wako uria Murang'a. Ngo ni urutire na gwe guthakariire. Kana nayo yuma ya kanitha. Ngo ni ndio wekiraga nguo ta icio. Cia guild. It was nice. In fact, I was just about to comment on it, but I think I passed by. Mtu wa Leeds. Sema Glashita North. Uko tu? Mujienda kuona Jurui, wachoka wehitha ku. Poa sana Glashita. Or is it Grace? Aboini wora donaria. It's alright, at least I have seen you there. Isaac Juru wadieko. Anyway, let's no, how are you? That's good. At least I need to change my title now so at least everybody can see that. It's a honorable title to be called Doctor of Service to Humanity. Yes, habari ya Nyahururu. Bado kuna nyesha ama imeacha kunyesha? How is everybody down there? Huku tuko sawa. Tunapambana na hali yetu na kujipanga. Sinikabia tunajipanga huko na Civic Renewal Party. When we hit the ground, mtaanza kusema, wow, these guys, they had their strategy all done. Githaiga, how is the United States of America? At least it's good to see you guys. That despite the numbers, our people are still safe. Yeah, so keep safe. Take all precautions. Masho Madenge, Jambo. Oh, when mtu wa Boyman. How is Boyman? Umenionea madhi huko. I'm sure she must have been in Boyman today. Amefanya kazi mzuri sana hapo kwa hiyo kaduka yake. Okay. Ndako na hala watu makelea. Johnny Nuts. Salamu sa jioni. Today, let's hit the eye on the ball. There's something that I've come to realize, which is very funny. A Kenyan born in Murang'a who has never traveled from Murang'a, and maybe the farthest he's gone is Nyeri. Or another one born in Kisumu, the farthest he's gone is, what do you call it, Siaya, has the audacity to think he knows so much about Kenya than Dr. Thiong'o, who's traveled the breadth and width of Kenya, studied in one of the biggest university in Nairobi, called the University of Nairobi, left Kenya to see the world and spent many years out. Someone who traveled Kenya enormously. And then someone who's never left his village is like, you cannot talk about Kenya, you are outside Kenya, my friends. And there's nowhere it is written which is the point where you can talk about Kenya. This narrative that, people in the diaspora, they are talking, I've never even known which is diaspora. When you're in Nyandarua, Kisumu will consider you as diaspora. You are not in Kisumu. There's no borders of Kenya. Anyway, the borders are there, physical borders. but the world became global village. This narrative of demonizing people. I even see others in Miguna's page. Miguna, a former legal advisor to Raila Odinga. You see some people telling him to concentrate on Canada. Someone who cannot even tell where Nyahururu is from Kisumu or even from Muranga. You ask someone from Muranga, where is Nyahururu? I only hear it. And that person thinks he understands Kenya better than some of us. Oh, you're outside, you should not be talking about Kenya. I am in Kenya. You cannot say you're in Kenya just because you're in Muranga. You least understand. Everything else you see, you find it on this same media that we follow. You watch news on the TV, the same way I can do it. Just like you can watch news from CNN and talk about America, talk about Britain. So yeah, this debate should come to an end. We all run our Facebook accounts depending on how or what we decided to open them for. I don't think I can go into anybody's Facebook page and criticize them for talking about Manchester City Football Club or Manchester United just because they've never been to England, or even Arsenal. The biggest market for English football is China, and 90% of the Chinese have never been to UK. Kenya is another one, and majority don't even know where England is. They can only see it in the map. But people are very passionate, they discuss it. So this nonsense of, oh, you are in diaspora, you should not talk about Kenya, you are doing this, should end. Everybody should be able to do what they find interesting. Yes, I saw a screenshot from Dr. Omamo, and even before Dr. Omamo spoke, the PS had spoken, and I addressed that. And I remember very well saying, nobody has told them that all our members here in UK want to be evacuated. Neither does anybody want to be evacuated. Even the people in China, they just want the government to stand up. This is nonsense that people want to be evacuated. What is someone coming to do in Kenya? I cannot even, I've tried to imagine what this thing is going from. The people in China, they just want their government to stand up like the government of Kenya has stood up with the investors from China. The nonsense that every time there's a problem you need to be evacuated is totally nonsensical. The Kenyan embassy in China should stand up for the Kenyans in China, guarantee their safety, and demand that they are respected and they can work and go home every night. Every other nonsensical details that we need to be evacuated, I don't know. There's nothing people are coming to do in Kenya. Even those who are in Kenya are still complaining. So all people need is an assurance that just like the Chinese are being treated in Kenya, they can also be treated outside there. The moment you start removing people or evacuating people, it's like you are agreeing that they cannot settle in that country. And that is sending the wrong message. Racism is still big in places like America, UK, but it is usually contained. And people can live and survive. And that's what keeps the world going. Telling people don't go there, people will target you, is losing the plot. Anyway, enough ranting. Let's go back to the others. So yeah, I was responding to your question, Mr. Madenge. I saw that. And if I was to talk to Rachel Omamo, I would just tell her to tell the government of China to stand up for all the foreigners who are working there. The Chinese are starting to move out. There are so many here in UK, and nobody would want to be attacked or targeted. They should also refrain from targeting foreigners in their country. That's what we stand up. I don't know maybe whether Chinese, those guys in there, they have their community leaders, but that's usually work. When you have a community and then you elect leadership, that leadership can get in touch with the High Commissioner or the consulate and give the grievances before they get into the streets. That's what we do here. And immediately after that case in China, we were able to speak to our High Commissioner here in London, and that is something that we discussed. Bwana Jeru, sema. Lito Evans, kama bado huko, hello. Helen Guya, hello. Semeni kitu, ask a question, let's engage and see how each and everyone is doing. Huku Ulaya, everything is fine. We are keeping on. We've not been awed by the coronavirus. We are keeping strong. And it's even worse than in Kenya. So in Kenya, you should not even be panicking. The fact that 90%, almost 60% are asymptomatic cases, people who are fairly healthy, who are just being told they have virus, which is not a major concern in other countries, should give you an assurance that you flattened the curve. The only people who should be counted in Kenya are those who have symptoms. And that would be an assurance. But once you start stopping everybody, whether the kids are 40 and then you start telling them they have coronavirus, is sending the wrong message. That's in my view. But who am I? I'm not a doctor. But all I know is that all the people I know here, anybody who's not had all the 5 symptoms, they are being discouraged from going to the hospital. You are coughing, you're told you stay at home. You have a fever, you're told stay at home. The only time they tell you to go to hospital is your temperature rises and you're struggling to breathe. And those are the only numbers they are counting. So if the UK was to start counting everybody who is coughing, everybody who's got a fever, everybody who's got like all those kind of symptoms, they'll go into millions. But then that doesn't help. You need to address the people that need treatment. But David Wekesa, the impact of COVID-19 is huge, my friend. When you hear the price of oil is going zero in America, that tells you that the economy is almost... when you see even the Americans coming into the streets demanding for the economy to be reopened, that tells you all you need to know. The world has not been closed for so long, so it's massive. We're just going to come to learn about the effects maybe in the next few days. When you see Donald Trump was built by the media, but he's also struggling now to stay in the media. I saw him yesterday lamenting that the media are asking rhetorical questions. He's almost like ruling out doing the press conferences. That tells you the heat this is generating. The world economy are almost coming to standstill. In UK, when you hear football, English Premiership, when you hear English Premiership is suspended for more than 5 weeks, it's a money-making machine. That tells you it will take time. In fact, football clubs are trying to tell their big players to agree to pay cuts. Some of them, they are standing still. I saw yesterday Mesut Ozil is among the people who are refusing. This guy saying the club has enough money. But now that tells you the impact in terms of the economic angle. Companies are feeling. Virgin Atlantic, Richard Branson is looking for a buyer of his Virgin Atlantic brand. That's something he's brought up himself. It's his own brainchild. So trying to sell it is telling you the effect this thing is having. Let's now see, we are more up to date than Kenya about Kenya. Okay, Samuel Sam. No, people with dual citizenship, Samuel Sam, they are allowed to contest. The only thing that happens is once you are elected, then you need to denounce one of your other countries. You cannot serve as a public servant with the dual citizenship. That's a constitutional question. But yeah, as you say, I won't say we know more than Kenyans. Anyway, it depends whether someone is from the village who is saying they know. But all my concern is nobody should try to restrict others from speaking and airing their opinion. Just like in Kenya, when I was in school, we were learning so much about the outside world. The world is not a village. You cannot assume that someone in Kenya should not talk about Great Britain when it was part of the history and geography and everything else. So the question, Macharia Githaiga. Now, when you tell me to tell you about Mwenenyaga, Mwenenyaga is the god of the Agikuyu, and Kirinyaga is his abode. And he's the one who established Mr. Gikuyu and his wife Mombi within the borders of the 4 mountains in the region. That's well written and documented. You need to get a book. There are so many books talking about the history of the Gikuyu, their worship. It's there now. And there are so many even people now in Kenya who are going back to that. But it would be misleading for me to tell you that I'll be able to tell you so much in here, because there are so many other things. But I would rather leave this as an open forum for anything else. Yeah, but yeah, Mwenenyaga is the god of the Gikuyu. So once you know you are Gikuyu, all you need is to read and know what used to happen. He's recalling his people back to him through his own ways, and he's doing it right. And if I was even to write to say what I saw today in most of the online churches, before the introduction of the modern churches, people worshipped at home. The man of the family used to be the head of the religion. They trained their children about God, the sacrifice, and everything. Coronavirus has taken people back to that. Today, almost all the churches I was listening to, I was hearing, you are now back into your own churches. Fathers, mothers, train your children, this and this, because you cannot come to the church. So we are going back there. It was to take you back to what you asked. And it will happen. Kihara, following from West Yorkshire. All right. Samuel Sam. Oh, I didn't even know who this was, man. Okay, Kihara, from Wakefield, Jambo. I didn't even know you are on Facebook, my friend. That's so you, man, you are okay. Now I understand. Wow, that's it's good. Yeah, that's a topic that the BBI, I think there was a team of BBI, they addressed that thing. I don't know how far it will go, but that will need to a change in the constitution to allow the dual citizenship to contest and hold public offices in Kenya. So it's not something I can state in certainty, but yeah, it's a good area to, mostly, just like the case of Miguna showed. You cannot lose your citizenship, so you should be entitled to everything else that someone born in Kenya is entitled. Your dual citizenship notwithstanding, because then there's a lot of allegiance to your country. Just because you are in a foreign land and you are doing so much should not disadvantage you or serve as a detriment in any way. Let's see who else is. Kale tukamama ori olainine kani udire. Angeli, I saw you there, but then you disappeared. Masho Madenge, when you talk about Boyman, which side? At least I would have wanted to know that, but there's quite a number of questions. So anyway, how are you, Kihara? Good to see you, my friend. Macharia Githaiga, we unakuanga which state? I always see you fighting Ruto. I think I stopped the politics of fighting. Now I'm trying to market my candidate. Somewhere I read, you do not become better by bringing the other persons down. You can build your own and compete with the other person whether they are still standing. And that's the only way Africa will rise. This mentality that we have to bring Ruto down so that at least we can have our other parties succeeding is what has kept Africa down. We need to rise up from that. This issue of bringing one down so that you can rise, then you have so many poor people, and this is what Kenyatta did. The mentality that you have to have so many poor people so that you can rule over them was a stupid way of doing politics. I think it's time that we need to encourage that everybody should be well off so that you can create market for your product. I think an affluent economy would be better off than the Kenyan economy, where people just want to have so many masses who can just be coming into their meetings expecting to be given something to eat. I would even wish that everybody coming into the meeting has a V8, but even with V8, leaders will always stand up. It doesn't matter how rich you are. If you are not a leader, you cannot read. The leaders will always suffice, whether you are talking of billionaires. That's why even you see Law Society of Kenya also does its own elections. These are lawyers, but they understand within the lawyers, there is someone who is more of a leader than the rest. They do elections. Now, a country should not be demonizing some of its leaders so that others can rise up. They can always compete the way Nelson Harvey competed with this other guy, what's the name? Kajama. You compete on topics, you compete on manifesto, on what you are planning to do, not trying to bring your opponent down, but agreeing as equals that a leader will always suffice. And I pray that maybe we'll get to that. So this thing of you people trying to bring Ruto down so that you can have your candidate, I am selling my candidate for now, and soon I'll be on the ground. We're going to continue selling our candidate. We are not going to care so much about what is happening with the other candidate. That's their business. But I would wish that we had so many potential candidates with good policies to change Kenya than trying to assume that we can only have one candidate. I find, and that's why even America is an affluent society, but they continue holding elections. You can have an affluent society, potential leaders, all doing great things. My friend, I'm at home, so I don't even see why would you tell me to stay at home. Everybody is encouraged to say that that's a minister guideline. But even this staying at home, it has exceptions. You cannot stay at home, everybody, because you need people to be delivering products to the market. Otherwise, people are going to starve to death. I don't even know who keep telling people that staying at home is meaning that everybody. You only stay at home if you are not serving purpose being out there. That's why we are saying the people who are not essential are now coming out to be seen. Those who offer essential services are out there saving lives, delivering produce into the markets. So people who sell in supermarkets, people who deliver product into supermarkets, doctors, nurses, those who are in the health sector, police, fire ambulances, all those are very important people. That's what life has shown. The bankers, the millionaires, those ones have been told to stay at home. Stay at home, leave the money in the banks, let others do everything else. But anyway, yeah, I was just trying to tell you, this stay at home does not apply to everyone. The world is still moving. The only people who are staying at home are the noise makers, the people who are just out there making a lot of noise. Everybody else, the hospitals are open. Yeah, so, yeah, like personally, me, I've been going to work all along. I have not been at home. I wake up. If I'm going to work, I go to work. I come back at home and I look at what is trending on the news. Yep, but my point to my friend Githaiga there is you don't have to bring Ruto down to sell your candidate. That's old-fashioned politics. Sell your candidate, tell people how he's better than Ruto, and encourage that Ruto and his candidates and his supporters continue to sell ideas. I would want to see someone telling me what that other person is going to do different from what Mwangi wa Iria and our CRP is going to do in 2022. That is what I want to hear. I don't want to hear that it's only Mwangi wa Iria who can become a president because everybody else is not qualified. No. Politics and leadership is all about the best. So you should have at least choices. So many in the market that you are even struggling to choose. When you are like that, then at least you choose the best. And this is what we have seen in all other organizations, lawyers, doctors. They all have a leader. it doesn't mean that those are people are not good, but within every setup, you groom one and you produce one. Sometimes, if you are make the wrong choices like LSK had done before, and elect just guy like that who doesn't even have any interest, he's never shown any interest in maybe defending the welfare of people, he ended up being like at my namesake. There was a guy called Gichui, and I thought he would be brilliant, but for the 3 years he was in office, LSK had become a laughingstock. He could not even be seen or even be heard. Samuel Sam, Ruto will not have any sympathy for it. My friend, we are 2 years to elections. You people, I remind people, I was there in 1992. Before Matiba came from London, Kibaki had seemed like he was running away with the Kikuyu vote. The moment Matiba came and said he's going to contest, and they disagreed with Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Matiba took the huge chunk of the Kikuyu. And in fact, it was within 2 months. I remember we closed the school in November, and the papers were just talking about Kibaki in Kikuyu land. By the time the elections were held on the 29th of December, 1992, Matiba was commanding Nairobi, Kiambu, Murang'a, Nakuru, Nyandarua. He left Kibaki with Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Eastern Mount Kenya, broke. So this politics is still fairly early even to call it. I don't even know why people are even thinking that there will be Ruto. Ruto is going to endorse Mwangi wa Iria in April 2022. And people can start recording this in their books. Ruto will be in our camp, but he will not contest. There's too much at stake. Just like Raila Odinga did in 2002. Sometimes everybody is thinking you're going to be on the ballot box, but then the stakes become too high. And you say so-and-so torture. So on our side, we'll have a candidate. And anyway, apart from maybe from me who is able to talk, I see people coming to an e-box talking about the good of Mwangi wa Iria. Soon it will become open. People will be able to talk about it, give their opinions, support him, criticize him. The good thing about life and politics and everything, and this is even what I believe, is that if you are praised without anybody trying to put you into question, you are being lied. So I'm liking when I see people trying to smear Mwangi wa Iria. In politics, at least you need those kind of people so that you can correct your mistakes. When you think you are too good and nobody is telling you the truth, then you fail the way Uhuru Kenyatta is failing. Leaders fail because they usually have people who are not telling them the truth. They are just lying to them. You are the best that has happened after the slicing bread. So a leader should get people who are telling him the truth. That, mister, if you go this way, you will lose the people on the way. Listen to the people. It's even there in the Bible, the story of the son of Solomon, who was misadvised, and he did not listen to the wise counsel. In leadership, it's always good to have wise counsel. And it's always good to think you are not the best, but at least to hope to be the best. Once you think you are the best, and that everybody who questions you need to be killed, then you become a Moi, and you become a dictator, and history will just be remembering the bad things you did. That was about the sympathy votes. I don't think there will be sympathy votes. That one I can say that. When we start moving in the ground, we shift the ground like a bushfire, and we'll have the last laugh. What is the other one? Is there now? Let's see who else is there to appreciate that. Captain Kipkoech DK, Chunde Wajiko. Okay, let's talk about the COVID-19. How is COVID-19 wherever you are? Politics is good when spoken, but it's still too early to campaign. All we should be saying is that we are encouraging a healthy debate. We are encouraging all the candidates to remain healthy. We want to see a good campaign. We want to see campaign devoid of insults, devoid of mudslinging. I want to see a campaign of selling policies. Tell people what you can do better than the other person. Give you ideas. Don't give people a lot of hopes that are not achievable, because that's what leads people to start doing the way Uhuru was doing. You tell people you're going to give everybody a laptop, then you realize you're surrounded by sharks. You start stealing every coin. No, my friend, I didn't say it's not your duty. I just said you don't win by bringing someone down. That's all I was saying. Because even if you bring him down without selling your candidate, that's like trying to say you want a Kenya without a president. So you should at least have a candidate, and you're trying to tell people my candidate is better than A because of A and 3, 4, 5. But you cannot just continue demonizing one without even saying who you are campaigning and how he's better than the other one. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not here to teach you politics. That's your duty. As I said, we all opened our accounts to do what we feel best. There are people who are on Facebook to talk sexology. There are those who talk politics. There are those who just are there to share memes. They are just there to share photos. So don't worry about what I said. Ignore that. If it makes you feel like you've laid out your plans, I was just trying to give my opinion. By my opinion, you don't have to take my opinion. That's why even the president, you hear, even a president usually have advisors, but they never take the responsibility of the decision. They said, we told him, we left him to make the decision. So always appreciate opinions. They should enrich your mind. That's why every day we learn something new. Gikuyu ni wa muthoni jambo Gikuyu uyo nani wagutariria wega maundu mamwe nenyaga. These people who are calling themselves Gikuyu, they are coming. There are so many on social media. I think almost everybody is wondering why we have Mobi and we have no Gikuyu. And I've also asked myself that question. How did we end up with having Mobi and not Gikuyu? Why did we lose the name of our ancestor? And it became a tribe. But, yeah. Yes, people. Yeah, so finally to recap this thing is that if I was to speak to Madam CS Omamo, I would tell her to stop confusing people with evacuation. People just want an assurance that if you leave your country and you go out there, your country will stand with you. You cannot be evacuating everybody when they have a problem with their landlord. Oh, so-and-so is being targeted because he's black. No, you don't evacuate people just like that. That's just like even a parent stopping your children from going up. Every time they are crying, you tell them to come into the house. You should always be able to stand up with your people and give an assurance that your office is there when it is needed. Kioni, say something na useme uko upande gani, at least tusikisane tujue the thing was well represented. It's good to see you guys. Mayaki wa Nyambura, jambo. I had seen someone else somewhere there. Captain Kipkoech didn't say anything. Yes. So at least here is very good afternoon. It's a Sunday afternoon. The sun decided to stay out. It's a bit crowded today. So I'm spending the day in the house instead of in my balcony, watching my pigeons. But yeah, it's good. It's good. Sometimes it's good to talk to people on these screens. The campaigns we're going to be doing in the next few years will require a lot of talking. So it's always good to start talking to people on these kind of platforms, having questions to respond to. Try to give your plans of how you're going to approach the issues that we'll be dealing with. But in all, telling people that life is worth the living. We cannot lose hope just because of an epidemic. Those who survived the Spanish flu are the ones who wrote about it. We're going to survive the COVID-19. We'll be telling our children when the world came to standstill. The roads in UK went silent. Everything went quiet. But our lives continued. We kept the faith. We continued with the fight. And we will finish strong. We will finish strong. This thing will not defeat us. We are undefeatable. That's what I keep on. Yes, Mr. Yeah, but not all people will choose peace. If people are choosing peace, the world will not be inundated with weapons. There are people, you give them a chance, they decide to create war. That's why every day in America, someone is thinking of the latest atomic bomb or the latest weapon they can produce. In Russia, the same. They wake up every morning, they are thinking of how to outdo America. In China, they are thinking the same. Peace is for the ordinary people. They want peace to continue doing their things. The guys at the top there, they are trying to see how to outdo the other one. And some people, they believe you only have to do the other ones by being ahead of them, either with the latest weapons or weaponry. Oh, okay. I didn't even know that Bwana Sam was Sam. The issue of Rachel Mamo. Rachel Mamo, I think she was a brilliant lawyer. She used to, one time she was the LSK president. She was brilliant, but maybe there are some responsibilities that you can be thrust into. And one of them is reading or being a public figure in Kenya. It can be overwhelming. You need tough people, but you never know. We just leave it to the High Commissioner in China, Sarah Serem, to try and deal with that problem. It's bad. It's bad that it keep recurring, and every time I see it in the media, someone is talking about evacuating Kenyans, and I'm like, what the hell is that all about? Not all Kenyans want to be evacuated. Some people are very happy. They are living the life of their dreams. The people who are seeking help are those who are in trouble. And they are in China. And even in China, if the government there can assure them that they are sorting their problems, they will continue with their life. They've been there for some time. Some are students. It's not like Kenya is the safest place. Even Kenya, they are not sure what is going to happen. So the people in China just want an assurance that their government is listening. But this thing of saying that there are so many Kenyans out there, like I said 2 weeks ago, not every Kenyans want to be evacuated. Some people, I think they have not even been back home for too long. They are happy wherever they are. So yeah, we live like your mom. If I need to find out what she said, because then at least we can listen it with the High Commissioner, just because here, like we did last time, I try to find out whether the position has changed again or what is going on. But as far as I know, with the High Commissioner, even London, I don't know how many people came forward who needed evacuation. That's something as well we can check out and confirm, so that we can eliminate this narrative that people are waiting to be evacuated. I don't even know whether there were more than maybe 40, 50 people in UK who wanted to go, and what happened. Hajot Singh, you all right, bro? How is Bradford? Did you finally find your boy? You keep saying he's still hiding. Your hide at sick never comes to an end. I've not even seen where he was hiding today. but I'm hoping he's fine and that he's learned how to hide and seek in a secretive place. But it's good to see you guys. It's good to engage with you people. As I said, I'm doing fine. Yorkshire is doing fine. The people that I know here are all right. And we are flying the flag of Jamhuri High. If I turn this way, you'll see my flag. I usually have a Kenyan flag there, just next to my window. It's even lit up more than it was doing before. Yeah, that flag there is the Kenyan flag that I continue to Now you're asking me how is your beard. Me, I cannot see you, but you can see me, so you should be telling me about mine. Otherwise asking me about yours, and it's me who is on the screen, I'll be lying to tell you I can see them. But if they're still the way they were, then men, I would want to have those kind of beards. Mine, they don't grow longer than this. They just refuse, and I want them to be tall. I grew up in the, like you, in that Singh religion. My religion, we were not shaving beards. I can't remember seeing my dad shaving his beard. But even his, they were not long. They were just like this. So all I'm now trying to do is fertilize them to become white. They need fertilizer. I want white beards like this, like the hair here. If that happens, then I'm cool. I'm good to go, man. Obed Munyinyi, how are you, my uncle? Kuke gano we mama. When I do akuma Jote, what are you doing? That thing just keeps bringing so many things there. Philip Mwagnyaga, habari ya Eldoret. Habari ya mtu tulikuwa tunaita pastor, is it Bishop Harun? Bishop Harun ya hana atia. Mwilo dole tika na wadha amire. Sema Obed. Mr. Obed Daro Munyinyi. Ndo nyako nawe ugatuigwe. I just saying, if I start speaking the language of the God, you won't even understand anything. That's why I usually say English is the medium that we try to engage to reach out everyone, but at least we can refer back to another language that is only known to the few who are chosen. Oh yeah, now that you've done that, you remind me there was that section we were doing, or was it on, I think it was on WhatsApp, whatever it is, I can't remember that place of making those. Okay guys, anyway, good to see you. Have a good evening. Until later.